Welcome to the latest conversation of Neuro Now. Today we have Adam Deutsch, co-owner of Scoop Shop in New Rochelle in the Golden Horseshoe Shopping Center. Hey, Adam.
What's up, guys?
What's up? Good to
How
see
Local,
you doing?
local, and legendary New Rochelle person as well, I should say.
I'll take
legendary
it.
Legendary,
family.
legendary.
Legendary family, this
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
Uh
New Rochelle runs deep in my blood for sure.
yeah, tell us a little bit about the history of just your family being in New Rochelle, being business owners in the area. Walk us through the family tree there.
Sure. So my mother grew up in New Rochelle. Um, my wife is actually from New Rochelle, and her father is also from New Rochelle. So we really have ties
Yeah.
on all ends. But my mother grew up in New Rochelle. My grandfather started Big Top long before I was even a thought. But so business in New Rochelle forever.
Was that the big top
My
in
father owned
Wakefield?
Big Top when I was growing up.
So that was
Yeah,
Scarsdale.
so all the Big Tops. At one point,
Oh,
there was like 25 stores.
Oh, wow.
wow.
But yeah, Waikiki, uh, it was considered Scarsdale, but technically it's New Rochelle.
Weaver Street?
Yeah, half of Weaver Street is New Rochelle.
Yeah.
Literally across the double yellow line is Scarsdale.
Yeah.
Got
It's
it.
kind of like Golden Horseshoe,
Same with the Golden Horseshoe. Yeah, half of
located
it is.
now.
So technically, we're in New Rochelle there too. So
Right.
So growing up, you had a connection, family connection to Waikiki Big Top, New Rochelle on Weaver Street, Big Top, and the Toy Box in Mamaroneck.
Toy Box was totally different. It was not. I mean, I know the guy who owned. Now it's changed hands, but I've known the people who would own that forever, but no family affiliation. My parents just moved, sold their house in August. They were there for 50 years in New Rochelle, and we were going through, and I found a VCR that actually worked, and all the VHS tapes of everything, like from my childhood, from baseball to hockey to, and I found this commercial that we did when I was a little kid, and then I also found another one from when my brother and I owned Last Licks. We were in a commercial together, so it was like such like mom and pop kind of things. It was just really funny to
That's what you need to
find that
put
stuff.
on your Instagram right now. A
Did you
little
I'll put it up.
digitize
I'll
it?
put it up there.
Did you digitize it? Like, is it?
No, no, but I'll make it look like it's
Yeah.
I'm very tech savvy, as you noticed earlier when I was trying to get my video on for this.
Nice. So what was it like growing up, you and John and your sister in a house where you probably had access to every toy before it was even on the shelf?
Every toy. I literally had every single Nintendo game. Um, we had I mean, systems even like from before, like ColecoVision was one, then Atari. I wasn't really a Genesis guy. I was more of a Nintendo and then a Super Nintendo guy. But I mean, Hanukkah was,
How much
amazing in my hands.
how much bazooka gum did you lift every time you went into the store?
So before I went to Hebrew school at Bethel, I always went to Big Top beforehand. My grandmother worked the counter, so I would go there and literally she'd fill my pockets with whatever. It didn't matter. There was
It was your
never,
mom's mom, right?
yeah, my mom's
I
mother,
remember her. I
yeah,
remember her very vividly.
she used to stand at the counter smoking a cigarette.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was like that was like her spot.
Hmm.
Um, I actually stole my first pack of cigarettes from Big Top too, when I was, 11 or 12 or 13 or whatever. But, so candy, cigarettes, I mean, everything. It was a kid's dream come true.
Sure.
you know, I literally, I mean, that my father owned a candy and toy store because I had a million cavities growing up.
Yeah.
And I literally had every toy you could ever imagine. There was nothing like I was spoiled rotten. My kids are spoiled rotten, but I definitely it goes along in the whole family.
Do you pop into the Big Top on Weaver Street every now and
I
then
do,
still?
I do, I do. So the first time I took my daughter there, she was probably like 5 years old. Um, and I couldn't really like explain, like it was hard to really explain, like this was Papa's store, like Um, but if they only knew, like my parents spoil them like crazy now with everything, but I can only imagine, what it would have been like. Then it
The same
was
linoleum floors is still down.
100%. Nothing has changed. Maybe they've been waxed a couple more times, but I mean, I remember Andrew when you were working there.
So I worked there. Like Abe gave me, I think it was my first job. I wasn't driving yet. I must have been 13, maybe 14,
Yep.
working the counter and just watching, watching your dad and how he handled the clients was like the coolest thing. Because if anyone knows Abe, he's just the nicest person. And if someone was short money, be like, don't worry about it. You'll get me next time. Or, if they, he put stuff aside for them, the old ladies and their newspapers every
Oh
week,
yeah.
just such a nice guy. And one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, what did you and John and Michelle take from Abe as a business owner and your mom as a business owner, and potentially use in your own professions?
So, I mean, I literally saw my dad working hands-on since I'm 10 years old. I was using the cash register at Big Top. I mean, every back to school, that was like busier than Christmas, like the line before Staples, before online Amazon. We used to like I don't know if you remember, we used to give out like those four color click big pens
Yes.
that had, like that was like the thing. You go to Big Top, you spend X amount and you get like a free pen.
Right.
But like everyone I talk to who either experienced my father at the store, like I've never heard a bad thing.
It was
It's
soft
always so
spoken, right?
complimented. Yeah,
I mean, I
100%. It's
can
like
never picture him ever raising his voice. Like, did he ever raise his voice and punish you guys at home?
my mother was definitely that was her thing,
Yeah.
no doubt. But I mean, look, when it came down to it, Abe definitely you know, he said what he had to say, but he was always like so easygoing. He was like the coolest guy, still is. But now he's getting a little grumpy in his old age, but
Are there things that you think about, like when you and John are running the store? Like, does that ever kind of come to mind? Like, oh, this is the way Abe used to do it. Let's just do it this way, or trying to
totally.
to mimic some of his behavior.
Yeah, so I always remember when you got like a big delivery of a certain toy or a certain candy, you'd always stack them up. Like you want to showcase it in the store. So you'd stack them up, you cut the box a certain way so the customers can grab from it. But you can see that you had like, boxes and boxes and boxes. So we do that sometimes to make like a little display or something like that. And my brother's always like, oh, we got to cut it up like dad, like that's how he tells me. He's like, set it up like dad used to,
Right.
that's how we know I know what he means.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is like now everything's computerized with like, making signage. I mean, my brother does all the printing and everything for like all these different organizations and all these different stuff. So he can really, and makes all this signage. So he can really make some nice stuff. But we always talk about how my father used to handwrite, like when he first started, like there was one summer he started selling like name tags that you like sew in and for sleepaway camp. So he made a sign that said, we now have name tags, but it was like his handwriting. He always wrote in all caps, it's like things like that, like we remember.
Yeah.
And we always we always talk about it, and like at every family holiday, every dinner, everything, we talk about how he made one sign for hula hoops, and he had a sign that said, "Wow, hula hoops." So every time we're together, literally every time, we always say, "Wow, hula hoops," and like with the exclamation point. I mean, it's like literally like clockwork. We love making fun of each
Yeah.
other that way, and we just get a kick out of it. It's like it brings us right back.
Yeah.
You talk about merchandise and marketing. How do you stay ahead of the trend now, which can like flip on a dime almost? It seems like what's hot today is gone tomorrow, or something that's going to be hot. Do you know about it in advance? And how do you like deal with ordering and making sure you have enough in stock? And I'm gonna like Needohs, right? Hottest thing
Yes,
right now. Didn't
the
hear about
hottest
it
thing.
like 2 months ago, but now you can't keep them on your shelf probably.
So I'm gonna take it back real quick to when my brother first opened the scoop shop in '97, same location. I was in high school working for him at the time. He always knew like always an incredible buyer. I don't know how he knows he's not on social media. He does, I mean now, but he just always like had the instinct to like buy heavy on certain things, or like he had an idea and like I think this is going to be big. And so like back then he always had a knack for that kind of thing, you know. Now I have a 13-year-old daughter, an 11-year-old son. My brother has a 15-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son. That's where we find out everything. Mostly the girls. The boys are into everything, but you know, my niece Ruby, my daughter Lucy, they're TikTok. It's all TikTok.
Yeah.
It's social media is amazing. That's our only means of advertising. It's like incredible.
Have
Right.
you tried, has there been a situation where you thought something was going to be huge, so you bought a big amount of it and then it ended up not being huge? Like what was the
Oh,
trend
so
or there
yes,
multiple?
plenty of times, and obviously we both do the ordering, but like when my brother gets excited about something, he gets excited about something. It's like that's how the Deutsches are. It's like all in, you know, in every aspect. But he's he's big into buying.
We
So
got
if
we
there's
got to
something
take a
he
look
likes,
behind the curtain in the storage room. What's going on in there?
oh, you have no idea. It's crazy. We've actually, I mean, you should see my basement in my house. We have an office where my brother does all the printing and everything. Where he's really not in the store as much anymore. He used to do it out of the back of the store, outgrew the back of the store. So now we have office space where he has all his printers and all his you know, the clothing set up. We do all the jerseys and the shirts and I mean you name it, for like, you know, for sports organizations, for schools. So that's basically what he's doing. If you go there, it basically looks like a warehouse of squishy toys at the moment
Yeah.
because that's the hottest thing. Um, so yeah, so back to like the Needos and stuff like that. That's an item that we've been selling for 8 years since we've been open,
Wow.
So
and
TikTok blew it up
it
then.
was always a good seller, but never, you know, we always had them. Within the last 2 3 months, I mean, I literally get 50 phone calls a day. Do you have Needos? Do you have Needos? I mean, it's funny. We were looking for some signage to make because when this squishy thing really started, we were like, what can we like make a sign saying we have squishies? And I was like, we're the scoop shop, but for now we're the squishy shop. You know,
You should have been like,
it's
wow.
out. Wow, we
Hula
have
hoops and squishy toys.
exclamation and hula hoops. Yeah, so we definitely, that joke definitely came across. It comes across every time we're thinking of a sign to make. It's so funny. But yeah, the Needoh thing is like bananas. Like seriously, I mean, we have over 100 different kinds of squishy things in the store. You walk in, it's like squishy central.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like last summer, my daughter came home with like this stick of butter. I'd say it was probably like 12 to 18 inches squishy butter thing. I'm like, what? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It is the hottest toy trend I have ever seen.
Wow.
And this is talking
Cabbage Patch Kids. You
before
were alive
Cabbage
during the
Patch
Cabbage Patch
Kids, Beanie Babies, Tickle Me Elmo, Tamagotchi. This takes a cake. I've never seen anything like it.
Wow.
So
Good
the
to know.
Needos, we always had them, then we couldn't get them because everyone was selling them. So my brother's like, we got to order them. So we put in crazy amount of orders, like thousands of Needos. Like I'm talking like numbers that most individuals retail. We're putting in like Walmart and Target numbers for an individual mom and pop shop. Okay,
Right.
they couldn't keep up with their demand. They couldn't produce this stuff enough. As one time we got a delivery in, say it was 500 600 pieces, because that's all they were sending. We ordered 1,000. They were sending us whatever they could send us. 2 days, the first order came in, put it on Instagram that it was there. 2 days gone. The last time I got them in, I got 500 pieces. I put on Instagram, they're coming this day because I knew when the delivery is coming. I had people waiting in the store from the moment I opened the door. The product wasn't there yet. Waiting. I still had to get the delivery. So I didn't really plan it out right because I I was like so excited. I'm like, they're coming today, you know? Um, Not thinking, okay, they have to come. I have to check them in to make sure that they sent us everything. Put them, make sure everything's in the system to sell, and then put them out to sell. Either way, no one was upset. People were coming, waiting. I had a line out the door once I got everything out to sell for 2 hours out the door. I sold out of every 500 pieces in 3 hours.
Wow. You've had a few businesses with family members.
Yep.
What's that been like working with your brother-in-law? Tell us about that. What's it been like working with John? Are you guys all kumbaya? Like what's been the hardest part and what's been the best part of working with family?
So it's funny that you ask. I mean, a lot. You hear a lot of stories that you know business tears families apart. And this isn't that funny, but my it did affect my family. Like my mother and my uncle don't talk. Whatever reasons, it doesn't matter. So that was always a thing. Like when we got involved together in business, like that we wouldn't let that happen. He was always my old. I mean, obviously he's my always older brother, so he brought me in originally, and I owe everything to him. I mean, he everything I have is I owe to him. You know, good and bad. Um, but I know deep down like that fact, and I won't ever forget that. You know, he's an incredible older brother. I mean, he's literally always there for me.
Yeah.
Now, all the time, people are like, "Oh my God, you guys are always fighting, and you're always we." That's how we talk to each other. There's no like we don't realize it, but every once in a while, like we're in the store in the back talking to each other, and we're like, customers can hear us. Like we definitely need to tone it down a little bit, but that's just how we are. We're brothers, we're best friends, we're partners. It's been like that my entire. I looked up to this guy for my entire life. He's 8 years older than me, so it's like he's really my big brother. It's not like we're like that close in age. But I always I always look up to him.
I want to talk about what happened in January of 24,
Yep.
the anti-Semitic vandalism, and how the community rallied. Just want to get your take on hearing about it before you came in or rolling up to the store and seeing it. Just like walk us through like your reaction and the community support that happened, and if they even found the person that did. I know there was some video, but just
Right.
like walk us through that.
So we get a phone. My brother gets a phone call from the guys who take care of the cleaning up the shopping center. Every night, and they go around and make sure like the garbages are changed and everything like that. And they called him and said someone spray painted on your window. So we got the call. I don't know, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. So we both went and met down there, and there were a couple stores that had spray paint on them. It said, what did it say? Oh, genocide supporters. So we had a we stand with Israel sign, like one sign, right in like the side window, like where the front door is. Um, and they got us and one of the other stores in the shopping center. Now, mind you, there's a kosher supermarket in there that didn't get touched.
Yeah, seasons.
Seasons. Why they? I mean, it definitely had to do with the fact that we had that "I Stand with Israel" sign. But the fact that they left that was just kind of odd. So anyway, they wrote genocide supporters. It wasn't even like they said "F Jews" or they felt whatever they felt that was anyone who stands with Israel thought like they wrote that. Okay. Um, Before we even got there, okay, there were a few people in the shopping center. People walking their dogs in the neighborhood, and then they always walk in the shopping center, like that were in there like to see when we got there, and they were like, on the phone with their friends or this or that, and they were like, "Oh, we're telling people this happened, blah 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 blah." My brother and I didn't think twice about it. We're like, "Oh man, this sucks. I hope nothing was damaged or anything like that. We hope, luckily it was just spray paint. They didn't break any windows. They didn't steal any merchandise. It wasn't anything like that. But we didn't think twice about it. Honestly, we were like, all right, there's crazy people out there. We gotta up the security. We didn't have any cameras in our store, like on the sidewalk. We never thought that we would need to. There was some footage from Seasons and from, I think, the bagel place next door has like a camera that shoots out to the sidewalk, so you can see there's a person with a hoodie and a like a mask, like a COVID mask. That was a thing. So you could see their eyes, okay, but you couldn't see anything else, and you could see them writing on, on one of on the store on the window. Um, that's all that you were able to see.
Yeah,
They never found the person.
never found it.
They never found the person. They tracked footage back to like traffic light cameras. They went to like some of the houses up on Wilmot. They went to some of the people's houses there to see if they could see their Ring camera footage or anything like that. But they were never able to track it back to. There was no car that pulled in the shopping center. It was a person, so obviously wherever they came from, they got out of their car far enough away where there was no license plate to find or anything like that. Either way, my brother and I didn't think twice about it. Okay. Went about our day. My brother went up to the office. I went home. Like, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't opening up that early, but I went home. I came back, opened up. Um, and it was busier than usual, especially for a January day. Like January's, I can work all day, open to close by myself with my eyes closed and help all the customers that come in an ice cream store in January. Um, but it was it was a little more than usual. 10 o'clock, people are coming in for ice cream. It was kind of odd. We did sell all the gifts and stuff like that. So my brother went back up to the office, and a couple people had said, "We're sending people. We're sending people. We're calling our rabbi. We're calling our mom's group. We're calling this. We're calling." And I was like, "This is something's really going on here." So my brother was up at the office. He printed up 5 more huge signs with the Israeli flag and the Scoop Shop logo next to each other. About an hour later, he came back. We put them in the front window. We just wanted to make it known that we weren't changing our views, or I'm not going to say what we did was like courageous or anything like that, but like we were standing strong with our beliefs, and like we're proud Jewish people, and we're not, a little graffiti is not going to stop that.
Right.
So like literally that day, we went from one little sign to like 5 signs. By I think by like 3, I got a text of like this. Someone made like a digital poster or something like that had an ice cream cone, and it said, I don't remember the exact words, but it was like, meet at the Scoop Shop at 4 o'clock this day, the same day. So I was like, and I started getting texts and calls from a few different people, as did my brother. And like, I'm scrolling on Facebook or whatever, and I'm seeing in like a couple of different groups the same thing. By 4 o'clock that day, there were literally 500 to 700 people in line outside of our store in the shopping center. Okay. Every news channel, my brother he's not really big into being in the public eye and talking. He's like, the exact opposite of me. So I got interviewed by every single local news channel I was on. It was crazy. The amount of support and everyone coming in, and that was our busiest business day ever to date. Back then, it didn't stop, and it continued for months and months. Still to this day, people come in because we have the signs still up. I have people coming in saying, "We just stopped in because you have those signs. Thank you." I mean, we had people coming and like hugging us and like saying thank you. My brother and I were looking at each other like we didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like but they were just very thankful that we continued to show our support and to like not like take the signs down. It's like that didn't stop us.
Have you passed that along, good karma type of thing to other business owners? Like, did that resonate with you? That all these people were coming to you and showing support, and have you kind of done anything differently since that event?
Um, done anything differently? I mean, it definitely changed, not changed, but it really made me think about how tight knit our community is. I mean, we were getting people, forget about Jewish or not Jewish, we were getting people of every faith, every background, every race, I mean, it was just support for the local business guy who got graffiti on his store. It didn't matter if it was me. It wasn't because it was me. It just happened to be me.
Yeah.
But the gratitude that we have and the feeling that of like community, like I've never felt anything like it. Still to this day. I mean, that
Wow.
continued for months, like for months and months, like people just coming in. And I don't want to say like this is why, because I feel like we always had a good business, but business it helped business. There's no doubt about it. You know,
Yeah.
um, like that January day was the most number of business we did ever, until Needoh Day a few weeks ago,
Needoh Day.
which we actually said to each other, we're like, we did more business today, like than spray paint day.
Yeah.
It's really like you come into the store, it's like we make everyone feel like it's their home. Like we really do. It's like always growing up, my father knew everyone's name who came into Big Top. When my brother first had the scoop shop, he was like the mayor. Now this time around, I'm the face of the store. I'm there every day. It's like everyone's coming in. Hey, Adam. I'm like, hey, how you doing? It's like it's. I mean, I am very popular with the 10 to 13-year-old crowd. Um, Mind you, I have two kids in that age group, but you know, I'm like a celebrity
I'm
in that
walking
world.
around with your shop shirt on, easy
Oh
target.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I printed on like I have a North Face. Like I don't really wear like a winter jacket. I always wear like a North Face like zip up fleece jacket. So I printed the Scoop Shop logo on it. Like that, I wear that everywhere. It's like I always am branded, but yeah, everyone's like I went to Dunkin' Donuts the other day and some little kid was like, "You're the Scoop Shop guy." It's like the most random places. Like growing up, my father was always like, "You can't go out to eat like at a Chinese restaurant in the Golden Horseshoe because everyone's gonna talk to you and this or that. Or you
Yeah.
can't go to Amore. You can't go to a town. You don't want to go to the local because it's like not like you're a celebrity by any means. I'm not trying to say that, but it's like sometimes everyone wants to say hello, and sometimes you just want to eat. So
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy.
So
But that's my whole life. It's been like you're the big top guy, the scoop shop guy, the last licks guy, or
a guy
always.
a guy who's worn many hats. I see one behind you, Neuro YBNR,
Oh.
right? So now you are the president of New Rochelle Little League. Am I
So
right?
yeah, so a little history. So for the last few years, I've been a board member of YBNR, Youth Baseball New Rochelle. I grew up playing youth baseball in New Rochelle. So New Rochelle has had two baseball organizations growing up, two
Yeah.
rec programs. YBNR, North End, New Rochelle Little League, South End. That's where the fields were. That's how it was. Um, all my friends always played in YBNR. My brother played in 1980 when YBNR was first started. My brother was played the first year. So it's like that. And where I'm not like a baseball guy, like from growing up. I am now. Now that baseball is my life. But I got involved in YBNR. My kids were playing rec. Started playing travel. I wanted to get more involved. I became the travel coordinator um, for YBNR. So there's a rec program and a travel program. The travel program is plays all different towns and everything like that. So I you know facilitate the tryouts and finalize the rosters and get the pro coaches and just to coordinate it all. So I did that for a couple of years, and then New Rochelle Little League, the numbers kept diminishing for their registration numbers. So they came to us as YBNR, the guys who were doing it. Brian Rosa, another New Rochelle guy, he was the president of New Rochelle Little League. He was really doing everything for the organization. This was about 2 years ago. And he came and he's like, how do we link the two, make it one baseball organization for all of New Rochelle? So, myself and the other board members of YBNR, we went back and forth and we thought about it and we talked about it. And we decided last year to, I don't want to say take over New Rochelle Little League. We really combined with, but we facilitated everything as far as the registrations and, everything for both. So last year was the best year ever for YBNR numbers because we got all the kids from New Rochelle Little League. It was our first year doing something on that level of registration numbers, but it was
How many kids are we talking about?
last year. I think we ended up having around 600 or five something. I don't remember the exact number, to be honest with you. I don't pay that much attention in all of our board meetings. This is proof of that. But so that was like, we always had, I'd say 400 was YBNR's top numbers. So we combined, we had almost 600. I'd say this is from T-ball to rec softball to all the divisions of baseball, going all the way up. This was the first year that any YBNR kids were able to take part in the district tournament, which is kind of like a travel feel. You're playing against other districts or teams within your districts, other towns. So like you played against, in our district is Larchmont, Mamaroneck, Hillcrest, Pelham, and like teams that most little league kids, if you're not playing travel, you're only playing within your town. So that was a cool thing for some of these kids to be able to do. And the amount of excitement, so we always had a rule at YBNR. If you play travel for YBNR, you're required to play rec because rec is what really keeps the wheels moving and keeps everything going. Like, we're a volunteer organization. So like, you're not making any money on the travel side, which, it helps to keep our costs down because we're not getting paid to do anything. But if you don't keep your travel kids in rec, the travel program will hurt from it, or could hurt from it. So we always made that a rule. But the kids weren't always into it. They were always like, we have to do this. So they didn't make it a priority. Last year, my son and his friends was the most interested they'd ever been in rec baseball. So that there was like, just told us that we made the right decision by combining. This year, I became, because I didn't have enough stuff going on, I got nominated and voted in as the New Rochelle Little League president. Not saying that I do anything on my own. We have a group that we're all as one, but someone had to put their name on it. So I had no problem, signing up for it as our first year of officially taking over, and saying, I'll be the president. But I mean, the amount of everyone that's helping me, I mean, the entire board so there's two boards. There's a YBNR board, and then there's also a New Rochelle Little League board. But, so we have separate meetings and, we do, it's a large group of volunteers on both boards that without it, obviously none of it would happen, but it's amazing to see how we combined, the numbers jumped, the interest from the kids is, that's the most important part, obviously, because it's for the kids. But the fact that some of the kids didn't care to play, now they want to play, they want to make the district team. They like, you're playing against some of the kids on your travel team. So it's like, there's always, you go back to school and you start talking shit. That's basically what happens. Before, you're all playing together. Now
This is so that the teams can have a path to like the Little League World Series, like and go in
In
that.
theory, yes, that is where you could go.
Right.
That's definitely that's the end goal, but it's
Big
not
stuff.
even, we don't even talk like that or think like that.
My first job was from
Yeah.
Abe Big Top, and my daughter Alexa's first job
Worked at
was with John at Scoop
Yep.
Shop.
yeah. You've
Yep.
helped the Feigenbaums out, really. Just
Yeah, it
definitely.
really comes full circle.
Yeah.
It really does.
Want to
You
do a
know,
Let's
the,
little
the
like
lightning
funny,
round?
yeah, let's do a lightning round.
sure.
Adam, before we do that, anything else you want to talk about as it relates to Scoop Shop or YBNR or anything coming up that you want to let people know about?
Um, we're getting ready to start the little league season, and rec season is starting like this week, so it's like craziness going around. We're very excited about that. Scoop Shop is turning into warm weather, so it's definitely turning into ice cream season, but it's always squishy season. I mean, we definitely have some Needos coming at the end of this week, so if you check our Instagram, Scoop Shop Scarsdale, we'll post when they're coming. Try to have it a little more organized than we did last time, but
When's your free Needoh day? What day is that happening?
no, that was last month.
Oh, okay.
That was last
Free
month. You just
Nemo.
missed it.
Free Nemo, dude.
Nemo, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Knockoff.
so we ask a few questions of all our guests that we're gonna ask you. First one is like, what's your go-to restaurant in New Rochelle or the area? You know, you just want good food, consistent every time, good service. Where do you go?
So we have a few regulars in my house because we're big fans of ordering in. But we're big Beachmont, Westchester Taco Grill, um, Jade Spoon Chinese, or Seven Walks. We switch it up there. Um, but I'd say my favorite from when we used to live in Eastchester or like Crestwood. My daughter is obsessed with Crestwood Pizza's chicken franchise. It's unbelievable. It really is. And we don't even call it chicken franchise. She just calls it lemon chicken because she's been calling it that for like 10 years. So she's always like, "Can I get lemon chicken?" So I'll always go out of the way there. And the guy John who owns the place, it's like he knows I didn't move that far. I moved to New Rochelle, but it's like, he knows that it's my daughter's favorite. And the kids, that's our go-to Italian spot, I'd say. Crestwood
This,
pizza.
if you were to get a slice, and this might get you in trouble, is it Italian Village or is it Amore? If you had to choose between those two.
Um Nowadays it's definitely Italian Village because
Yeah,
it's literally
right next
two
door.
steps two
Yeah,
steps down. But I'm a big Sal's Marinara guy.
there you go.
No offense to Sal's too in Quaker Ridge, but I'm a Sal's Marinara guy.
All right, good to know. I mean, you've seen Italian Village for your entire life, like go
My
through.
entire life. Yeah, Frank, who used to own it back in the day. When I was a little kid, I used to go in there. I'll never forget. He like took my winter hat off once, and like pretended to like put it in the oven. So I'm still waiting to get that back. But like just going in there and growing up there, and just it's so crazy seeing it. I mean, literally, I've grew up in the Golden Horseshoe, and now I'm there every day.
When you're not in the Golden Horseshoe or one of your favorite restaurants, where do you like to go in New Rochelle or like the surrounding area just for like pleasure, fun, a walk, a hike, or whatever it might be?
Um, my life basically revolves around the scoop shop, my daughter's softball, and my son's baseball. So I'm either at the field or at the store. That's it. There is nothing else.
Okay.
Um, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, like at my son's games, like we like do like I do like the live intros for every kid coming up to bat, and we play the walk up music. It's like a real to do. It's like we love the baseball, but it's really about like what us parents do on the side is in the background. Is really it's like a family. It's amazing.
Yeah, keep it.
Just growing up in New Rochelle and having it be such a diverse place, I think really prepared me for the real world. Um, I grew up going to school and it didn't matter, you were always with kids, white, black, blue, pink, purple, every kind of person in the world. So like that's always just been normal to me, and raising my kids here for it, like for them to go through the same thing is like they don't see a difference. And there's plenty of other towns and places where it's like not like that, and everyone's just like you. So the fact that I grew up like that, I think, made me just different than, someone who grew up in a small town and didn't get to see what every kind of person that's out there in this world.
Hey, Adam, thank you for joining us today. Learned a lot about squishies, ice cream, Big Top. Look
Abe,
forward to seeing you at the Scoop
Abenator.
Shop.
Was I the only one that called him Abenator, or was he known as the Abenator?
No, he was always Uncle Abe, but you definitely coined that one.
I love Abenator. Yeah, thanks, dude. It's been good catching up. Glad everything is going well for you personally and in business. And tell your family we say hello.
Yeah, much thanks, guys. I really appreciate
Yeah,
it. This is a lot of fun.
put a
Love
few
New Rochelle,
videos
so
aside for us.
yeah, you got it. I'll keep them in the back.
We'll put up your Instagram. So you said Scoop Shop Scarsdale is Instagram, Facebook, other social media.
TikTok, I'm working on. I'm not quite there yet. So my daughter just created a new account. We're gonna start doing our own TikTok. So I'm trying to go viral here, baby. I mean, between the Needohs and my personality, I think I got a shot. So we'll see.
Plus, after this conversation,
I mean, this is it. I told you,
This is it.
record numbers, baby, record numbers.
You heard it here first. Adam
okay.
Deutsch is going to beat the record of all-time Neuro Now videos, video views on YouTube, right?
Yeah, we're going for 5 million.
Okay, nice.
Okay. Nice
All
to
right.
meet everyone. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.